Right, welcome back everyone to the Football Corner with Shreyas. This is episode 6, and honestly, what a final round of group games this turned out to be. We've got drama, we've got a goalkeeping horror show, we've got a full-blown dressing room mutiny, a couple of legends writing themselves into the record books, and one of the great underdog stories of modern-day football. 3 groups today, G, H, and I. So let's not waste a second and let's get into it. Group G first. Belgium, Egypt, Iran and New Zealand. And look, before last night, Belgium were in a little bit of a mess, right? 2 games, 2 draws, sitting third and not a single goal from open play. Their only goal was in the Egypt opener and that was an own goal. People were writing them off and then they show up in Vancouver and put 5 past New Zealand. 5-1. And the way they did it, it tells you everything. Leandro Trossard. What a tournament this lad's having. Opens the scoring on 28 minutes, pouncing on a loose ball in a goal mouth scramble. And then early in the second half, he gets his second goal. An acrobatic finish of his own rebound after the goalkeeper saved his initial effort. A brace for the Arsenal man. But the goal of the night, Kevin De Bruyne. 66 minutes. He collects it outside the box, drives straight through the middle of the New Zealand defense, and then curls a beautiful one to the left-hand corner from distance. Pure class. All of BC plays singing his name, and he does a beautiful little heart-like gesture with his hands to the crowd. Vintage KDB. New Zealand, they nick a late consolation through Elijah, just the 3rd goal of his tournament. But Belgium, they answer back within 2 minutes, and this is the moment of the night. Romelu Lukaku, on as a sub, barely 60 seconds earlier, rises highest and heads home off a beautiful cross. 4-1, and with that header, he becomes Belgium's all-time leading goal scorer in World Cups. He blows a kiss to the crowd, and then lastly, Salamakers, teed up by Lukaku, rounds it off on stoppage time for 5. So Belgium topped the group on goal difference over Egypt. But here's the honest take, and that flatters them. 16 first half shots against a New Zealand side that offered nothing is one thing, but doing it against a real team is another. Courtois said it himself, we are still far from being contenders. When your own keeper is tapping the brakes, you listen. Egypt, they take second spot. Exactly what they needed, a 1-1 draw with Iran. Salah managing the game, professional, job done. Mahmoud Saber with the early goal for Egypt, with Iran responding through Ramin Razaian. But then it's stoppage time. Shoja Khalilzadeh think he's won it. The bench erupts and VAR chalks it off. So instead of a famous win, they are 3rd on 3 points, sweating on a best 3rd place spot. Cruel game. New Zealand go home bottom, no wins, but they competed. Okay, Group H, and this is the big one. Spain, Uruguay, Cape Verde, and Saudi Arabia. Part tragedy, part fairy tale. So let's do the tragedy first, because it's a proper soap opera. Uruguay, 2-time world champions, Marcelo Bielsa in charge, and it fell apart, on and off the pitch. Even before the Spain game, reports broke out that senior players Valverde, Ugarte, Bentancur, their keeper Roche went and confronted Bielsa. They argued that the restraining was too brutal and that it was causing the injuries, and they wanted to take up a low block and a counter-attacking approach against Spain instead of his high press. Bielsa's response? He gathered the whole squad and spoke for about 48 minutes, accused them of trying to get him sacked, and his players reportedly just walked off while he was still talking. A mutiny, basically. A man who had already confirmed he's leaving after the World Cup, who had left Luis Suarez out of the squad entirely. A disaster waiting to happen. And then the match, it lit the fuse. Spain weren't even that good. They've not had a single shot on target in the first half of any of their 3 games, which is mad. But 3 minutes before the first half, Marcos Llorente swings in a delivery. Alex Baena takes a touch, shifts it, and his shot just squirms through Fernando Muslera's hands and into the net. A horror error. Muslera, who had actually come out of retirement for this tournament, becomes the first keeper on record since 1966 to make 3 errors leading to goals in a single World Cup. Bielsa hooks him off at halftime. Uruguay's first goalkeeper substitution at a World Cup since subs were even introduced back in 1970. That's how bad it was. And it just kept unraveling. Verde, the captain, subbed before the hour mark, covers his face, storms to the bench. Ugarte had already gone off injured, stretchered off in tears. And in stoppage time, Agustin Canobio completely loses it, studs up lunge on Pau Kubarsi, straight red, and then grabs at the referee's shirt. Ugly scenes. 1-0 the final score, Spain topped the group, and Bielsa afterwards just says, "What I leave to Uruguayan football is nothing." Brutal honesty from a broken campaign. But here's the fairy tale, and this is the bit I love. While all that chaos is going on, in the other game, Cape Verde are drawing 0-0 with Saudi Arabia, and the second their game ends, their players huddle around a phone on the pitch, waiting on the Spain result, because if Spain win, Cape Verde are through, and Uruguay are out. Spain win. And these lads, a nation of around 500,000 people, one of the smallest ever to reach a World Cup, they are through to the knockouts. Uruguay, 2-time champions, pipped by debutants. This is the shock of the tournament, full stop. How did Cape Verde do it? Organization, total discipline, no superstars, just a compact low block, everyone covering for everyone, soaking up the pressure and nicking what they could. The 0-0 was a defensive masterclass of togetherness and spirit. The reward is a round of 32 with a tie with Messi and the Albiceleste. Right, Group I now. France, Norway, Senegal and Iraq. This one was sold as Mbappe versus Haaland, and it fizzled out, to be honest. Norway had already qualified, so they rested Haaland and a bunch of their players on the bench. And France, they just rolled them 4-1. But out of that came something really special. Ousmane Dembélé. While everyone's been watching for the 2 superstars, Dembélé goes and bags a beautiful first-time hat-trick. The second fastest in World Cup history, straight into the Golden Boot race. And it's a reminder of how stacked this France outfit really is. Earlier in the group, Mbappe became France's all-time leading goal scorer, surpassing Olivier Giroud of 58 goals, and he's still in his 20s. Frightening depth. France topped the group on a perfect 9 points, looking like genuine favorites. Norway take the second spot. Happy enough, Haaland rested, and they've got a mouth-watering round of 32 tie with Ivory Coast coming up. Norway is a tough team, especially from set pieces. Odegaard's deliveries, big bodies attacking the near post, they can do the damage. Senegal, they made it sweat. They had a wobble. They lost 3-2 to Norway in a game that they should have managed. But on the final day, they absolutely hammered Iraq 5-0 to sneak in through as one of the best third-placed sides. Habib Diarra nodded them in front inside 4 minutes from a corner. Ismail Assar swept in his third of the tournament, and then the substitute, they came off the bench and fired in a quick fire brace before Iliman Ndiaye thumbed in a beautiful 5th goal. The player to watch out for, 18-year-old Ibrahim Mbe, who even got on the score sheet against France earlier, the youngest scorer in the group. Remember that name. Iraq, back at a World Cup for the first time since 1986. They bow out, but they competed. So what's actually next for this lot? Because the round of 32 bracket is basically logged in now, and there are some proper ties to get our teeth into. Start with France. They've drawn Sweden over at the MetLife Stadium on June 30th. On paper, winnable comfortably. France are deeper, quicker, more dangerous in every area of the pitch. But here's my one caution. Sweden are big, they're physical, they're awkward. And France can get a little loose at the back when they're cruising. If Dembélé and Mbappe click early, it's going to be a procession. If they don't, Sweden will drag it into a scrap and make them sweat. Norway, meanwhile, they get Ivory Coast in Dallas on the same day. And that for me is the pick of the round and a match to surely not miss. Two athletic, direct, front foot teams running straight into each other. Haaland against a quick, powerful Ivorian backline. That's a proper heavyweight collision. And the winner, they land Brazil or Japan in the last 16. So that's a serious price sitting on it. And Senegal, as it stands, they've got England waiting. Tough draw. But on their day, with that pace up top, they'll fancy a shock. Over to Group H, Spain topped it, so they get the Group J runner-up and looks likely like Austria out in Los Angeles on the July 2nd. And honestly, Spain should handle that. They haven't conceded a single goal all group stage. They haven't even faced a shot on target in any of their first half. They don't look fully fluent yet. Yamal's still finding his rhythm, but that's almost more frightening, isn't it? Winning ugly, pacing the tournament, doing exactly what the champions do. Egypt, they march on, and they have drawn Australia in Dallas on the 3rd of July. Winnable if Salah's on song and their nerve holds, but the Socceroos are organized, disciplined, and they will not give Egypt an inch. Belgium, as group winners, get one of the best third place sides over in Seattle, most likely South Korea. And after that 5-1 win, KDB and Lukaku will be licking their lips. And then I've got the one that is circled, red, underlined, 3 exclamation marks next to it. Cape Verde versus Argentina. Miami, July the 3rd. The smallest nation ever to reach a World Cup knockout in their tournament debut against the reigning World Cup champions and the greatest player of all time. Now, as an Argentina man, my head says we'll win this comfortably. Messi's leading the Golden Boot race, the squad's purring, and the depth is ridiculous. And that's your lot for episode 6. A goalkeeping nightmare, a dressing room mutiny, 2 legends in Lukaku and De Bruyne turning back the clock, a record-breaking hat-trick, and a Uruguay exit nobody saw coming. If you're enjoying the Football Corner with Shreyas, smash that like, hit subscribe, and drop your knockout predictions down in the comments. I read every single one. Next episode, we will wrap up the remaining groups and we go into the round of 32 as the knockouts kick off and it gets real. Until then, take care, enjoy the football, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.